quite excited about that. There's quite a bit of interest across the board. So what I would like to do today, and there's still people coming in, but I want to time box this. I actually set it myself and also on the Meetup between 6 and 7, but we're starting 7 minutes past 6, so I'm going to try to stick with an hour. What I would like to do is just 45 minutes on MIIA and then 15 minutes on Google TensorFlow, because I said we're going to do an introduction. So where's Alex? He's probably still coming. He sent me a Slack message just an hour or two ago. He said I must show TensorFlow Playground and stuff, so I'll definitely show that as well. But what I would like to do, let's keep this interactive. Questions. I'm sure there's lots of people, lots of questions. People maybe have different ideas about what we want to do in this community. I think we are pretty open to mold this into whatever we need to mold it into to make it different. So what I would like to do, I would like to start straight away with the Meetup presentation. And I want to actually just talk about three things. The first thing is the community. Currently, if you look at, even on our website and LinkedIn and stuff, there's quite a bit of interest. There's about 160 members and followers, and just this turnout here is just tremendous. And we actually want to do more of these kind of meetups across the continent. So we want to start off with that as well. So I think this meetup is quite important. It's still people dealing with people, and you want to get in touch with people. So I want to talk about community. I want to talk about activities. I'm sure there's quite a few questions about that. So, and specifically projects. And I've seen it, the project dashboard with some projects, but it needs to come from the community, from you, people that knows what's going on as well, and from Africa, from different countries where there's issues and problems. There's quite a bit that we can do in South Africa as well. Most of us here is African, so we need to think about that. And there's some entrepreneurs here, and business people and stuff, so that's all cool. And then the final piece is on what I would like to talk about is just the partners. So we do have some partner representation, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and that's it. So, and then we can talk about it. If there's any questions, feedback, comments, please do that. And on the TensorFlow stuff, I'm going to show you a 2-minute video. I want to show you playground for TensorFlow, and I've got a few slides. So hopefully I can do that in 15 minutes. So let's fire away. Okay, so this thing is not working properly, so I'm going to use this. Okay, so I've mentioned community. I think the potential is there to build a really strong and innovative community. If I just look at the profile of the people that's here and the people that's just signed up, I think there's tremendous excitement and potential there. So just think what we can do as a collective power, as collective intelligence. And so I'm pretty excited about that. So enough said, I think there's quite a bit of things already communicated. For me, in terms of activities, and I will talk more about it now, I think we want to do stuff. It shouldn't just be talk. So there are 3 types of projects I was thinking about, categories, and I will be talking a bit more about that. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer that. So research and applications, I think there's some research people here as well. But I love the research as well, but I also love applying technology. So, and I want to see it make a difference. So application will get quite a bit of emphasis. Then I think there's underlying technology that's just changing this whole field, the landscape tremendously. As you all know, Google, it's open sourcing their TensorFlow, IBM, Watson, there's a bunch of open source stuff available there. It's tools in our hand to do stuff. So we'd love to see that we do that. And then with partners, I don't think we will be as successful as we can if we don't have from partners. And we want to do stuff with governments, on a country scale. You need to work with business or business organizations. Government organizations. You want to, if you think from an entrepreneurial perspective, there's a lot of this stuff you want to scale. You need to think about how business would actually, from a business side, you can do that. It's not that easy from a non-profit side to do those type of things. Obviously, work with non-profit organizations and academic organizations. So I put this slide together. I talked about the projects, research, technology, applications, and my next 3 slides will be about that. The other types of activities, I think it's also, there's a lot of skill here and experience, and even people that need, say, entrepreneurial support. There's quite a bit of activity on the non-profit and business side. So we want to help with that, mentor with that. There's a lot of experience here. Opportunities to blog, to share. We want to have events. We want to work with anyone that does anything in this field of analytics. So you will see on the website, for instance, there's the Chief Data Officer and Chief Analytics Officer forums. There is any analytics activity that we would be very supportive of that. And if you think about conferences, I'm not sure what it is. If you guys, if there's any conference or events that you've got on financial inclusion, then we might be very supportive of that as well. So it's really important about that. Then training, mentoring, obviously. So next slide, how to participate. So first of all, I think if we want to make this successful, I think it's important that we have active members. So we've got a lot of nice tools. For instance, Slack, we've got a sponsorship from them effectively to use the Slack platform up to a certain number of people. So which is really cool, and it's a really nice way of doing chat and messaging and just talking. How many people know Slack? Tools like that. Okay, cool. So I know there's a bunch of people, there's already 40 plus people on it, but I would recommend that everybody's on it because even if you don't go there every day, it is an opportunity to see what other people think, what other people share. You can't have just 1 or 2 or 3 people share, you want everyone to share, and I think people will benefit from that. You will see on the website there's quite a bit of training happening. There's training on MOOCs, there's training events in Africa, we will share that. Community chat already talked about that. And then I think what we need is people here that would be kind of activity leaders. And they would be what we envisage if you get from the funding, you actually employ people as well. But there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be done. So from this perspective, very interested to talk to anyone that's interested to, I know there's already people that express interest, so that's really awesome. This is just showing a screenshot from our Slack platform. Alex, I don't see Alex here, he said he's going to be here today and stuff, but he's quite on the ball. He said his partner Cuba is going to be here today as well, but anyway. But this is a great platform to start engaging, so I would really recommend you guys do that. Okay, now into the meat a little bit in terms of activities. If you go to the website, no, not much. So what do we want to do with these projects? So I think addressing an African problem opportunity would be awesome. Support entrepreneurial activity, support community building, learning, collaboration as part of community activity. And we want to advance the research and technology as well. I did my studies also in artificial intelligence, neural nets and stuff like that. So I've got some interesting ideas as well to advance state of the art. I think there's lots of other people that have interesting ideas. So I'd love to see that we improve our toolbox with those type of things as well. So we become more competitive from a technology perspective as well. But if you think about the African problems, this is stuff that was collated effectively from the World Economic Forum, from the World Bank. I've looked at the Pew Data Center. You will see on the website as well, there's a bunch of stuff. What are the priorities in Africa? What are the real problems? And then they prioritize accordingly. Now, listen, so we're just going to quickly go through it. So, poor education and skills development, poor healthcare, lack of employment and access to financial resources. So the whole story about financial inclusion inclusion is Juma. And Juma, the company here, is actually making a big impact in terms of that. We can maybe talk about it afterwards as well. Lack of sustainable governance systems and crime prevention, we need that. Poor infrastructure and energy shortages, food shortages and ineffective agriculture. I know these people here in our country as well, with these partners, they are actually into agriculture as well. There are a bunch of opportunities there. Lack of technology and manufacturing competitiveness, increasing water stress, poor sanitation, rising pollution, and weakening of representative democracy. So there's a bunch of problems. There's actually more. But, so there's lots to do. And I think with machine intelligence and data science, it's not only with analysis, but it's also with applications involving Internet of Things, involving smartphones, mobile, and all of those type of things. We want to make a difference with this kind of technology. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here at all, but I just want to, this is stuff that's on the website, so you can get this quite easily. What I did here was just to see, to give you some sort of idea of some of the things. There's a bunch of other ideas as well. There's a bunch of stuff on financial inclusion, and Mondelez and Jumo and Christian and Kristen, I can tell you a lot about that. They actually busy with financial inclusion, all of those type of stuff. They are funded by the World Bank and also by MasterCard. Oh, actually, Gates Foundation, that's right, to do that. So, and I'll talk more about that soon. But on the social network analysis, there's Charles Copley. Here we go. So I've got even your project listed here. I'm not sure if that's still going on. That's what we can talk about later. Okay. But for instance, I had some engagement with Professor. What is? Yeah, hi. I was showing your face here, community chat.
Oh shit.
Yes. And I've got your project even there. Where was that? Geocoding of a business customer database. Well, here he is. He was already represented here. Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so anyway, I mentioned Professor Patrick McSherry. I had a very interesting chat with him. He's got a World Bank Center of Excellence in Rwanda that's focused on data science and stuff. And he did some analysis on constructing spatial temporal poverty indices from big data. And he basically used first he used mobile data. By the way, these guys know, Jumo guys know all about mobile data and all data records and stuff. But he used it on a holistic scale. And he looked at mobile ownership, he looked at call volumes, they looked at night lights, they looked at population data and overlaid all of that. Came up with very interesting poverty indices and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of stuff that we can do. A lot of stuff is, the data is not all proprietary, it's open source, it's available, so you can do stuff. On healthcare, there's a bunch of stuff. Lots of ideas, and I don't want to go into too much. So there's a bunch of application-related projects. Now on the analytics side, I put this also on the website. You'll see, most of you are probably familiar with the evolution of analytics, going from descriptive, diagnostic, predictive to prescriptive. We address questions like what happened, why did it happen, what could happen, how to make it happen. But I think the next level is cognitive computing, where you actually have also focus on what to do, proactive action, but also learning at scale with all the big data, with all the deep learning stuff that's available, the natural language processing, all of those type of stuff. So you can start to reason with purpose. You can also interact naturally with humans. So there's quite a bit of exciting stuff that can be done going forward as well. So, and I would love to chat more about that later on as well. But you will see on the research side, I've highlighted cognitive computing, deep learning in any of these industries as well. But then there's a bunch of ideas, and I've just seeded some of it here, just on a high level. In terms of advancing the state of the art of machine intelligence. I did my studies and stuff in recurrent neural nets, but there's a bunch of other things that are pretty exciting stuff where we can make huge impact in terms of powering our toolboxes as well. So we can participate. You can get on par very quickly with the best, and then you can go ahead. And then finally, I'm an side, we've got Leon there, he says Spark Boffin. How many billion, you did a presentation this morning, how many billion rows and stuff that you put through Spark? 12 billion.
Yeah.
So we're talking about all direct records, detailed record, transaction data.
That's actually GSM switching. Switch records. Yeah.
Switching data. And Spark is the way to go if you want to do that kind of big scale stuff. So, pretty exciting. But anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about TensorFlow, but there's a bunch of other things available. And also competitions. IBM Watson's got an AI X Prize. There's Kaggle competitions. There's a bunch of other things available. It would be great if the community form little groups interested to participate in stuff. So I'd love to see that as well. We're ahead of schedule. Way ahead, so there's lots of time to discuss this. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but again, research technology applications. Research is a bunch of stuff there. On the technology side, tech user tools, platforms that's available. On the next slide, and also the website, you'll see quite a bit of things on that front. And I've got also very specific companies and open source things that's happening. That's all listed there as well on this machine intelligence landscape. But there's quite a bit to do in the industries, on the enterprise level, with governments, with autonomous systems agents. So I'm pretty excited. It's almost how do you prioritize what to do. So that's why you need a lot of people that can focus on specific things that you're interested in. So this is just listing some of the platforms and tech user tools. There's a bunch of open source stuff available. We're talking about TensorFlow, but machine learning, you will see quite a bit of stuff here. So the purpose not to go through this in detail, just to make you aware of that. And then on the industry side, what you will see there's a bunch of companies that's actually focusing on very specific machine intelligence type of solutions in the various industries. And I think it's very important to take note of what's happening there. If you're interested in agriculture or interested in retail finance, well, by the way, I've got Jumo here as well on the retail finance side. But I actually placed it there because it wasn't on the original website. Healthcare, there's a bunch of people working in different segments. Yeah, so there's a 2016 version of this landscape. This is the 2015 version, but this is just basically the message here. We need to rethink enterprise. We need to rethink industries, rethink humans and human-computer interface because of all of what's happening here. And I think similar to what we've seen in Africa. In Africa, we can leapfrog. We can bring people either out of poverty or out of a problem situation using technology. We see that with mobile technology, with national inclusion. There's a bunch of other stuff that we can do. So we'd love to see that we actually do that. So it's like this phrase, software is eating the world and stuff. But I think I talk about intelligent software and machine intelligence and data science and these kind of things eating the world because you will see that embedded in everything. So the opportunities are immense. Okay, on the website you will see buttons like this. So if you want to go and see the list of projects, you go to the project dashboard, just click on that link. If you want to submit projects, it's open to anything, it's brainstorming, we can talk about it. You just click on that button. We want to showcase projects that's successful as well. And there's a project overview that gives you quite a bit of background on how to use the various tools and stuff like that. And I'm not going to go into this, but I even put this is just preliminary. This is just to give some structure to it, but we can modify it and see what works, what doesn't work. You will see some of the tools that we've got available there as well. But going through approval phase, funding phase, preparation phase, execution, and a completion phase. So this is just high-level things. But I think what we will find, there is, for instance, projects from ACE-DS. There would be projects from Insights Impact where we just collaborate. It doesn't need to go through this form. We probably listed on the Meetup website as what partnership some of the projects. But if there's projects that we do as a community, it would be good if we kind of follow this kind of process and use the tools that's available. It's just going to help us. And then on the partner side, I just put this together there. There's so many universities and research organizations. Just think about the data scientists and data mining experts that's on this continent. There's so much to do. And just think if we could really grow this thing where we start engaging with one another in different countries and talk about specific problems. So we're helping maybe in Tanzania, or we're helping in Kenya, or vice versa. There's a bunch of stuff available there. So we've got a few sponsors already. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for funding. So you'll see on the website the sponsor page. We are also registered with TechSoup and SangoNet. They provide technology donations and a discount portal, which is really cool. And then I just wanted to end off the partners session with mentioning we've got 3 representatives here from Insights to Impact, which is sin-free sponsored, I guess, as well, and Gates Foundation and so forth. And I've got one slide just talking about the 4 things that Selena mentioned, so we can maybe talk about that as well. Even education partners, so we've got, that's quite exciting. And just quickly on Insights to Impact, you guys mentioned the Innovation Hub, competition fund for data scientists, which is awesome. There's proper funding for that, so that's awesome. And there's also eye-to-eye client centricity community of practice. The first meeting will be in August. Christian, you mentioned that this job description is changing and stuff, but there's still that need for some sort of data scientist, consulting, whatever. So anyway, looking forward to this type of interaction. And I just wanted to mention ACDS as well, Center of Excellence in Rwanda. We are looking at jointly. You will see Patrick McSherry also on the MIIA community as well. So we're looking at collaborating as well. Okay, so final almost. On the website, you will see we've put in quite a bit of effort there as well. So we've got some information resources there on Africa. This is just seeded with some of the information. But problems and priorities, you can go and look at some of the tables and graphs and stuff. It's quite interesting. Some of it is really up to date. There's Africa opportunities. What are the opportunities? There's an interesting page on that, and just a bunch of visualizations. There's so much to do. So the reason for that was just for the data scientists amongst us, people that's interested in visualization and data and stuff like that. You actually get some inspiration from looking at some of those kind of stuff. And there's a bunch of stuff on machine intelligence. And we've got some news feeds. You will see actually if you go to the main page, you will see news feeds and Twitter feeds. But you will also, if you go to Feedly, there's a MIIA Feedly channel with lots of news and stuff. So you can look at it, you can share, it's quite interesting, just to keep up to date. Yeah, so that's that. So I think we are, well, we're gonna time box this to 7 o'clock. So this is cool. Maybe earlier, maybe we can get into this earlier and drinks and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, so any questions, comments, feedback? It's up to anything that you guys, yes.
It's a big question about
yes. You're absolutely right. So, and I think we need to create that as well via apps. If you think about West Simon Cross, the Crackle Foundation, with Boomi, when you're busy with Boomi and stuff, and there's a bunch of, you can say if I'm correct, but I think that could be a vehicle, for instance. When you use mobile platforms, you send SMSs, and you actually look, you put a campaign, you get data as well. So I see data gathering opportunities, for instance, there. That's in addition to mobile phones when you interact with your mobile network operators and stuff like that. There's opportunities to generate data as well, but again, it will be via the mobile phone. Will the mobile open it up? I agree with you. It is an issue, but there is data available. So there are some projects, but it is we need data. But if you think about the Internet of Things, and sensors. Huge opportunities. Listen.
Just so we can think about that. So even in Africa, mobile phone penetration is already quite high. On the smartphones, it's 70%. Smartphones is at 30%.
What is the feature phone?
70 or thereabouts.
70%.
Might be higher. But smartphones is at 30 something, it's double in the next year or 2 years. So the opportunities like that channel is almost. Even those obviously are think of the that we share that partnership with their financial institutions. But through mobile applications, it's obviously a whole new character that's coming up. Fortunately, if you are personally interested in that, you have to design an app and get users to use your app. But there are businesses that have been very successful at watching apps. Branch in Kenya, they have a very successful business model and it's still young. They've had very successful growth and they collect thousands of variables from users mobile phones through the app and then place credit. And we are actually lucky that these focus that on using alternative like that and they explore practices. And there's quite exciting opportunities with credit. So I think about 96% of adults in Africa does not have a credit record with a traditional credit union.
Amazing. 90% doesn't have a credit.
So this might be a year or two ago, but it's like very high. And the problem there is like you can't get access to credit if you don't have the record. So because you don't have access, you don't get a record. And there's a whole bunch of companies that uses alternative data sources, like some psychometrics assessments themselves. There are companies that use social media and they also gather data from mobile apps. But there's a whole array of examples where companies use completely different information than the traditional credit bureaus and then have proven to have comparable success rates in terms of risk scoring. If there's alternative indicators, we'll really focus back on that in the next week or so, so we can share news with you as well.
Awesome.
And a lot of the research we'll be doing over the next couple of years is specifically looking at these sort of applications for alternative analytical methodologies and alternative data sources, not just in credit, but insurance and
Fantastic. That's awesome. Simon, you guys could just speak up a bit. I don't know. I know you guys.
Yeah. So, feature phones that covers, I guess the next segment up. If you're a business, it probably makes sense to probably going smartphones because you need to interact with people who have money to interact with you if you're like a business. There's a lot of information just tied up in the way cell phones handle payments, other companies handle payments. So, I've seen people plot basically geographic graphs of the average airtime spend of someone for basically contribution to cell phone towers. That's very, very interesting information. You do need to speak to the operator to check that you do that.
That's the big thing. Unfortunately, with Jumo, full access to MIIA data on that level. So the stuff that's been done here is awesome. Yes.
What they put on the page practice from the bodies?
Gordon? Here? Leon?
Tower. At tower level,
So I know that we're
basically.
answer. No.
Did they give that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, yes.
Yeah.
By the way.
I'm curious, you have any plans for hackathons or?
Oh man, we need you to flip and be leader for that.
Yeah. I'll volunteer.
No, definitely. We need that. It's our community. We need to do something. So I love that. I think that's awesome. We need to do it. That's it.
Nice.
Well, that's where it's innovation. All that. Brilliant. Okay. Any other could start with the tense of first note earlier, but if there, or we can always have full discussions afterwards. So, but is there any other? Yes.
Right now, how do you plan to send this to
Very good question, and I think critical is to have meetups in other countries. So we've got this meetup in Cape Town where we're gonna have more meetups. That's the plan. We already have quite a bit of people from other countries already members on the website as well. The engagement, for instance, and I think anyway, if you look at what Insight to Impact, say for example, if you look at Africa, that's a broad spectrum. But there's also, I think, say, Professor Patrick McSherry in Rwanda, wonderful stuff happening. So we want to collaborate. We already said there's maybe joint funded projects and stuff. So this will be just the start. The potential is great. So it will be dependent on not just me, it will be dependent on us, the whole community. So we'll do what we can to get people interested, but we need to make it work. So the potential is great. There's even lots of people, well, there's a few people already from the US and from Europe that want to help as well. People maybe with African roots that want to make a difference here, just people there. But yeah, that's important. Okay, yeah, more questions? You're right. Yeah. Julian. Yes, Simon. Oh, sorry. Can we give Constantine a question and then back to you?
It's more efficient than everyone else. It's a kind of show of friends who's not involved in financials.
Yeah, that's a good. So that is not involved.
Thanks.
So can we assume the opposite?
People will.
Yeah.
People that understand. Okay, good stuff. Simon.
It feels like we want to support actually and they have people that do training for people. And something that I feel very successful is the impact community to have essentially a template for how to do training. So it's a material and a source of funding, and usually training doesn't need very much funding. It needs like
That's true.
yeah. And this allows people to, even if they aren't able to like find Meetup, they can go to the website and interact with us and make that positive and kind of run it wherever they are.
Absolutely. Just on that front, with training, we've got, there's one guy, Andrew Collier. He's not here today, but he's a member. He's actually coming from KwaZulu-Natal. He's going to move down to Cape Town. He's actually presenting a training course in June, July, 2 months training course. One of the companies around here. So I want to list that kind of stuff. We want to list that on the website as well, make people aware of that. So any of those type of things, but any other type of training activities, these people in Juba, and Jackie mentioned, they also want to do stuff. But I think we just need to definitely do that. That's critical. That's part of, we've got it as actions.
Yes, I'm quite interested to know. Yes, I know you won't have time now.
Yes.
For that, but I think like I wouldn't be able to speak to everyone there. But maybe just checking. So when we all sign up on
Yes.
Meetup, so I don't know what's the best way to kind of.
Yeah, because there's more people here than just outside of Meetup. So not everybody's been because community is also.
So I'm just thinking of, is there, I mean, not that all of it now, but is there a way to kind of afterwards see, okay, these are the people who are here, and
Yes. So what I will do is I know pretty much everyone that's been here, so I'll send out an email to everyone. And remember, if you look at what's that? Yeah, that's right. Sorry. That's another thing. There's so much students about that. Can be about machine learning. But I actually have the list. I know I've got real. But what the cool thing is, if you look at the Facebook, but I will put the list. Remember, there's a community members page where you can actually click on. You can go to the link to all the meetup, so you get more information about different people as well, and you'll see what they do. So definitely, but I'll send an email out saying this is it. So we maybe need to take a picture So by the way, can we do a quick picture? I'll stand there.
Hi, man. Good.
Als lieve moeder.